Pistons got punched in the mouth in Game 1. Would they have a response in Game 2 against the Magic? The answer, yeah, definitely. Here we go. Mid-first, Cade Cunningham. Once again, the best player on the floor. He was in the losing effort, had 39 in Game 1, kept it going in Game 2. Pistons up 5, and then Cunningham puts it on the floor and gets to the rack. He scored or assisted on 14 of Pistons' 25 points in the quarter, and Detroit up by 4 heading into the second. Paolo Banchero draws the double team and then kicks it out to Jalen Suggs, who had 15 in the first half. Magic hanging right with him, then Banchero breaking down his man. He had 18, just 7 of 17 from the floor in this one. Magic up 1 after the missed foul shot. Cunningham gets it right back. The float game on points. This one was tied 46 apiece going into the half. And then the third quarter, this game totally turned on its ear. Magic with a slew of turnovers and Detroit cashing at the other end. There goes CC off the window and 1. Pistons up 9. And then Cunningham to Duncan Robinson. Up fake. And splash.
Detroit runs on Duncan.
Yeah, okay, good one. Asar Thompson. Then going to steal it from Suggs. Just basically mugs him at midcourt and finishes. Pistons up 20. Yeah, there's a former Piston, Isaiah Thomas, enjoying the show. And then Isaiah Stewart. No, don't come in here like that. No, 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 no. Finger wagging from Tobias Harris. Detroit playing great defense. And then Cunningham, I'm not even looking. The beef stew. In Game 1, just 2 Pistons in double figures. 6 guys did it tonight. Pistons up 27. They won the third period 38-16. The fourth, just icing. Cunningham, 27 points, 11 assists. The Pistons get right back. They win at 98-83 to even this series at a game apiece.
For more here with our very own Tim Legler, fresh off of calling the Pistons game. Legs, Detroit really separated themselves in that third quarter, outscoring Orlando 38-16. The third quarter, usually the Tuesday of quarters, but that one had Friday energy. How did the Pistons take control of that game?
Yeah, Madeline, look, this was a series that was built upon 2 defenses that are mirror images of each other. Very physical, very difficult to find real estate all over the court. So you're going to get some ugly offensive basketball at times, and that's clearly what we had in the first half of this game. At the start of the third quarter, it just felt like a couple of shots by Cade Cunningham, one by Tobias Harris. It felt like it loosened up everybody in here, including the Detroit Pistons offense. And that energized their defense even more. So at the exact same time, somebody started stringing shots together. The defense for the Detroit Pistons really suffocated Orlando in that quarter. This game had a lot of defense, if you like it. 18 blocks, 25 steals, 42 forced turnovers. It had all of that, but it also had one stretch of really dominant offensive basketball as well, and that's where the Pistons got their separation, and everybody in this building could breathe a little bit easier, knowing now they're going to be headed to Orlando 1-1.
You know, Legs, after Game 1, we saw what the Magic did, and then after the first half of this one, I'm like, hey, does not look like a 1-8 matchup. The Magic are really going toe-to-toe with the Pistons, and then, of course, we saw what happened in the third quarter. Now the series swings back to Orlando. What do the Magic need to do to get back some of that momentum?
Well, David, your point is excellent because this isn't a typical 8 seed. This is a team that had massive injuries, only had 19 games together when you talk about Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs, 3 of their top 4 guys. That's very little time to find rhythm. This is not a great offensive team. They don't have a lot of three-point shooting, but they have good enough offensive players to go with an elite defense that they're not a typical 8 seed. But that's where they found themselves, and they found themselves in a matchup with a team that they can play through physically. The Magic don't mind being grabbed and held and bumped and hit because they've got big, strong ball handlers. So looking at the series going in, I thought it had the propensity for some of this, what we saw. Now when you go to Orlando, remind yourself, no matter how bad things went tonight, it's just one game. It's only one. Put it behind you. You accomplished what you wanted to. It's 1-1, and now you have home court advantage. You don't have to win on the road again in this series if you can take care of business at home. That's my message to my team. I think if I'm Jamal Mosley, I think if I'm J.B. Bickerstaff, I think you tell your team, That response in the third quarter is what a 1 seed is supposed to do. That is what it's supposed to look like to establish control of the game and eventually establish control of the series. So here we go. I think this series has the propensity for a lot of chippiness, a lot of talking, and a lot more physicality as we go. It should be very entertaining to see what happens in Orlando.
Yeah, best of 5 basically right now. And as you say, the Magic with home court advantage the rest of the way.
Yeah, and it's going to be a competitive one because with Detroit's win, 3 of the 4 Eastern Conference series are now tied at a game apiece. Legs, which higher seed should we be most concerned about going into Game 3?
So right now, I don't think any of them are in real trouble when you take a look at the Pistons, the Celtics, and the New York Knicks. But if I look at one of them, I look at Atlanta. That's a young team that when you look at the second half of the season, the momentum that they had one of the best records in the East, and the momentum they're carrying into the postseason. You go on the big stage in Madison Square Garden. You come back in the fourth quarter. You operate and execute down the stretch with C.J. McCollum, a proven playoff performer. They're young, they're athletic, and they're going to have a very energized home crowd now. So I don't think any 3 of those teams are in deep trouble yet at 1-1, but keep an eye on that Atlanta Hawks team and how they play in Game 3 with those young legs being energized by that home crowd and a veteran leader at the point that's been there, done that many times in the postseason in C.J. McCollum.
Legs and the crew, great call in tonight's game and always graduate level analysis, my friend. We'll talk to you down the road.
Appreciate it.
The last time the Pistons won a playoff game in Detroit, Cade Cunningham was in kindergarten, learning his ABCs probably. Safe to say things have changed a little bit. The Pistons' 11-game home losing streak was the longest in NBA playoff history. It's over now as the series heads to Orlando, tied at a win apiece.
Pleased and honored to be joined by the legend, Mike Wilbon, to talk NBA. These Lakers, have they made you a believer going forward in the West?
Hannah, going forward through Houston, yes, I'm sitting here laughing at Perk for the second time today. I started laughing early this morning at Perk and his wonderful directness. They're going to get through Houston, the Lakers will, because LeBron James is 24-0 when leading a series 2-0, and Houston shows no signs of life. I know the series has yet to shift to Texas, but like everybody else, I'm confused and disappointed in the Rockets and whatever it is they're doing. But Hannah, beyond that, the Lakers would have to meet up with the Oklahoma City Thunder, those guys who are defending champs in the next round. Right. And the last time the Lakers did that, they were on a roll, and they went flying into a game with OKC, who just smacked them down by about 30 or so. And so, no, I don't see that. And that includes if they get Doncic and Reeves back, and if they get anybody else they want. I don't see the Lakers going through OKC, but Houston, they're going to get through this first round, and not a lot of people even had that. Yeah, I wish the Rockets had gone out and gotten a point guard after they lost Fred VanVleet. I really wish they'd just taken care of business then. All right, really unfortunate news with Wemby. Going down last night. We know he's in concussion protocol, so they have a game Friday night. Then they're kind of in that early window on Sunday, right? So we don't know when he's coming back, but you don't want them to get behind in the series, so how do they carry on without him? And this is an essential question now, the playoffs, Hannah, to me, because the average amount of days missed by a player who suffers a concussion is 9 days. 9 days takes you right through games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday. And I can't imagine Wemby playing Friday night anyway. Maybe Sunday. But in the meantime, San Antonio's going to have to lean heavily on Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox. They're veterans. Because these young guys have yet to do anything, even experience a real playoff series and the tense moment of it, as terrific as they've been. I mean, Castle and Harper and that whole cast. But they haven't done this. Right. And without Wembanyama, I think there are going to be some shaky moments. I expect some, particularly playing on the road in Portland Friday and Sunday. Portland, and people have forgotten because the Blazers haven't been formidable in the playoffs for quite a while. That's a difficult place to play. And they're going to come out sensing, upset we've got them on the ropes without Wembanyama. They're going to have to lean again on De'Aaron Fox and Harrison Barnes heavily until they get Wembanyama back. Yeah. And we hope that's sooner than later.
I mean, Swipe is used to leading teams, but I do want to point out that Barnes and Harper were also both hurt in that game. I mean, so that's just something we got to keep an eye on. Okay, so it was so crazy. It was kind of a weird night. Last couple of nights, we had these disappointing losses at home by teams that we had high hopes of. So we had the Celtics. They always lose game 2. The Knicks. The Pistons, maybe give the Spurs a pass. Which home loss kind of bothered you the most? Maybe was a sign of a little bit of weakness there.
If I had to flip a coin between the Celtics and Knicks, I was going to say Celtics, but the Celtics throw in a clunker, Hannah. They're going to miss a bunch of threes. They shoot this crazy volume of threes. They're going to do this every series. They've been doing it every series, even when they won a championship. So I'm going to say, no, I'm changing my mind. It's the Knicks. And maybe that's because I'm here in New York, and I hear the moaning and the groaning all over the city after that game. And they're going to have to really pull themselves together in Atlanta. But the Knicks came in with aspirations still of getting to the NBA Finals. And the bar is Boston because we saw it last year. We saw them beat the Celtics even before Jason Tatum got hurt. So the Knicks with disappointment. Question is, can they bounce back in Game 3 in Atlanta?
Yeah. We will see the answer to that, and we will see a lot more of this